everyone, and welcome back to Devils United, second stream of today, and we'll be doing a preview for England versus Germany, which is going to be on Monday. How are you, Reece?
I'm very well, thank you. I've just done a stream of my own, so this will be good. So now here, just chat football with a very welcoming human being, of course.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
And hello to people who's are in the chat. Hey there to Henry. Can we borrow your tea, please? No, sorry. I think I'm just going to quickly say what I think the problem is with Liverpool. The long shots. And another thing is that you are going a bit too high up the pitch. So it's all because Everton are them kind of sides who are a counter-attacking team. They're happy to sit back at the entire game and then have a 1-0 win. That's the kind of team Everton is. And Liverpool is a high-pressing, intensive team. And when you have got basically all your players up the pitch, that allows the young player Jess Park, the Man City loanee, very, very quick defender, to go past and shoot and score. And I think that's what Liverpool's problem is in terms of that game. Hey there. Yeah, pretty much. Hey there as well to Ravi. Thank you for coming in. Perfect timing, of course. So what we'll do, we'll touch on the squad that you brought through to the Nations League. We've already done it for England for the last preview, so there'd have been no point really going through it all again. So let's go on to Germany's team that they have brought through. We'll do obviously a bit at a time. This is a weird looking one because they put the midfield and attack together. It doesn't make sense. But it's
because pretty much everybody there is like the same thing. Like Lucas Nemecha, Royce, who isn't even there anyway because he's injured. Severe injury because he got injured in the Ruhr Derby. And obviously Werner, like they don't always play as like attackers. They do play as number 10s at times as well. So at times you could see Germany playing a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-4-2-1, but also at times you can see them playing a 4-6-0 purely because the striker comes back and make a midfield and then we just attack in that way as a combined play. So you don't really see at times playing as a natural striker. So there is that change in tactical flexibility.
Okay. Good evening, Paul. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. So we'll quickly look at the goalkeepers and we'll touch it a bit more detail. We already know who's the number one goalkeeper there, of course, but you've still got a very strong goalkeeper three. Probably for me, arguably the best three goalkeepers for a country.
Yeah.
You've got Neuer, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and Kevin Trapp. Three goalkeepers who's on very, very good form right now, but we all know that Neuer is that number one goalkeeper and he's going to be remaining the number one goalkeeper until he retires, of course, and he's the captain for Germany.
Exactly. Neuer's just... I know there's some great goalkeepers in world football like Alisson, Ederson, like Mike Maignan for France, but if you ask... to be fair, even when he plays for England, like Pickford's a good goalkeeper for England. But if you ask me who is the best goalkeeper still in world football, I'm gonna slice two hands off and still say Manuel Neuer. Like his experience, and people wrote him off after he broke his hand a couple of years ago, and they thought that was it. But Neuer is still proven why he is the undefined sweeper keeper, and he's still the best goalkeeper in world football for what he does. I think the goalkeeper who will follow him in terms of the best status will be Maignan for France. I've said that numerous times. And to be fair, and Jan Oblak as well, he's another phenomenal goalkeeper, but Neuer's just... There's nothing that he can't do except be crazy where he continues to run like 50, 60 yards to win a ball when he doesn't always have to do it, but it just shows like how important his role is and he takes it with serious intent.
Yeah. Kevin Trapp as well, he's a highly rated goalkeeper. Is he your second or your third choice goalkeeper?
Third choice, Ter Stegen second. Still number one for Barcelona, and Kevin Trapp number one for Eintracht Frankfurt. Very solid side, obviously. He won the Europa League last season. He's had a fairly decent few games as well. Obviously, we were linked to him as well, United, who I thought we should have tried to pick up as well. But we didn't. But yeah, he's third choice, and I'm just glad that there's one name that's not there because he's absolutely awful, and that's Bernd Leno.
He's your best goalkeeper. That's just so tight.
You know full well he's not.
That is just so tight. But
No, he's-
um, Ravi said Germany are too robust. Not too sure what that means. Sorry.
I disagree with that. We're not robust at all. Like we're a very fluid attacking team. Like we can be quite pragmatic as well, but robust is like nah. I don't. I think that's a very unfair way to describe the Germans.
Um, Diving Germans, I like to say. Paul said, "Come on, Wales." I'd rather say "Come on, Wales" over "Come on, Germany" or "Come on, Scotland." So, and "Come on,
Naturally,
Italy." So yeah. Torsen, yeah, not your is the best,
he was a
and
big miss the other night.
and Ravi said Neuer is still levels at his age.
Yeah.
Um, so you've got I know a couple of these defenders who are next up. I don't know a lot of the defenders.
Hmm.
There is Kotchap, Ginter, Gosens. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing these, by the way.
I can cover it if you feel
Yeah,
not
go on.
confident on some names.
You could do that because I cannot pronounce half of these names.
Okay, since you're not confident, it is good for you. For defence, the top one is you've got right is Armel Bella Kotchap. Then
All right then.
you got Matthias Hinter. You got Robin Hoschens, Thilo Kerrer, David Raum, Antonio Rudiger. You got Nico Schlotterbeck and Niklas Schüller.
Okay. Yeah, so I know a couple of these
Mm-hmm.
players. I obviously know of Rudiger, and you know that highly rate Rudiger,
He's
and
phenomenal.
you are always thinking wrong on this, but I think Rudiger could only play in a back three system.
I get why you say it. Like I do get it because he is very fluid in that sort of system. Whereas in the back four, like it's a bit out of place. But I've
I
seen him
think
play.
he's a bit sloppy when it comes to the back four system. I don't think that.
That's fair.
I don't think he is as comfortable when he plays in that back four. I think he is a back three specialist in terms of centre backs.
Mm-hmm.
And to play a player out of position, it's just like him playing as a CDM when he's coming into a back four, in my personal opinion.
No, I think that's very fair. I think he's done very well though, like in terms of the back four this year for both when he's played with Germany and when he's played for Real Madrid. But then again, like he has played some amazing football in a back three. So I do get your point. I don't mind him in either situation, just as long as he's in the starting lineup because he is the best centre back for a reason. His experience, his carrying the ball, his movement, his pace. But another thing as well that he does bring is a winning mentality from the success he's achieved. Like he's achieved a lot at Chelsea, like bar not winning the league. I think he joined the year after Conte won the league. I think he joined that summer, like when as they were champions. But other than that, like the Champions League's big experience, the European trophies, he's done all this, and that adds to the team, especially going forward. And that's why Real Madrid definitely wanted him.
Mm-hmm. And another one that I do know is David Rom. My
Yeah.
left back, and I think he's a terrific fullback. I'd probably say, in terms of the Bundesliga, he's probably one of the best fullbacks in the league.
Yeah, he was the top assist. He was the top assist maker from his position last year. 13 assists for Hoffenheim, and then after that, it prompted Leipzig to go and spend on him. And in return, we loaned Angelino, who obviously you're not a big fan of, but I know I am. We loaned Angelino to Hoffenheim as an option. Well, here you go. We'll take your best left wing back and we'll give you ours. But if anything, it benefits us because Angelino's good at creating. And yet he is good at that. He is fairly good at creating. We've seen that ourselves, and you can't deny it. He is very good from the crossing perspective, and he's good from a set piece. But David Raum is quicker, especially off the mark, and he's also a better defender. So he will do the duty as a fullback, which he's been doing for Leipzig. But also he's been playing wing back for both club and country when the system has changed that back three. So it does give you that versatility.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other defender at all you want to touch on?
Two of them actually. Robin Gosens, obviously the left wing back for Inter Milan. Obviously, he played as Germany's undisputed left wing back at the Euros last year. If you can remember, he wasn't on the winning side, obviously in the quarterfinals, but he did cause England problems. Like from that left hand side, England didn't know how to deal with him. He was very effective in the group stage, and the other one is a young defender that normally I would go for Schlotterbeck because I really do rate him. Obviously, he's one of Dortmund's key defenders, but for me, it's Armel Bella-Kotchap. He's a young player. I
Yeah,
believe he
the
plays for Southampton.
Didn't Southampton buy him this transfer window as well? So
They did, yeah.
I actually think he's been pretty good so far for Southampton, in my opinion. He's been very strong. He's been quite commanding as well in that back line for Southampton. I think that he's helped them from getting a worse result than what Southampton had in terms of losses, and he's kept them in the game for a lot of the time as well.
I agree, and with that, I'm glad he got his deserved call up ahead of key defenders like Mats Hummels, for example. He got a call up ahead of him, and Thilo Kerr's in there for his versatility. He can play as a centre back or he can play as a right back. Although I'm thinking we should have taken another right back. I mean, in the last squad we took Benjamin Heinrichs, he's a right back and a right wing back for Leipzig. Personally, I would have taken him over Kerr. But if you're going to play a back three, Kerr can at least slot into that right centre back role, whereas Heinrichs can't.
Yeah, definitely. You've got. I think Kotchap, is this his first game for a senior player? So he's never played for the first team before.
No, this is his first call up.
Okay, so that's good for him, and it's good even as well for a Southampton point of view as well to have the experience in there, because there isn't every single position of Southampton where they have got an international player.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go to the World Cup though. I think he's viewed after the World Cup like he's going to be involved more of the squad for the Euros. Next year's Nations League, see how he embeds into the squad. If he does have a really good 6 months though, and from the start of the season to the World Cup though, I wouldn't be opposed to him going, but I would probably take more of an experienced option and then give him the chance next year. Not because I don't think taking him isn't undeserved, but I think it's better to have an extra experienced defender than someone who hasn't very rarely played in these tournaments, and I think it'd be a bad call on Hansi Flick, but luckily Hansi Flick's a very smart manager and he knows how to bed teams in, so this will be a good option.
Yeah, we'll quickly go through the comments again and then we'll go on to the midfield attack, which is a very weird combo. I know you've already touched on it, but it's still a weird combo. Paul said Germany will beat England. I really think so myself as well. Yep. Henry said Neuer will start the back four. Rudiger, Ginter, Rom, Slotterbeck. Midfield, Gnabry, Goretzka, Kimmich, Jamal Murciela. Strikers, Werner, Havertz, Marco Reus. What do you think of that lineup there, Reece?
I think it's a good one. I'm just not sure if Reus will play because Reus did get injured in the derby. But if it's not as bad as what is anticipated and he does play, I would still maybe play Thomas Muller. I think when it comes to international experience, Marco Reus is one of my favourite players. But in terms of international experience, Thomas Muller has more experience for Germany. He's played in more bigger games, more big in experience for the national team than Reus has. And especially against England, where you've got a back, it's going to be a back. I don't think he's will play a back four. I think he's will play a back five. I think with that extra defensive option, Muller is better in operating space. And I don't think you will be able to handle that effectively, in my opinion. I think with the movement he gets around, it'll benefit the likes of Havertz and Werner and potentially Jonas Hoffmann, who I also think will play.
Ravi said Germany are clear of England, not hard right now.
True.
Hey there, Luca. Hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Paul said Southgate waistcoat W. I'm not gonna say the word. Ravi said, lol, there's not every player is from Manchester. What can I say? Everyone wishes they're from Manchester. Ravi said Rudiger is a versatile defender. Ravi said, I'll go with it for you, Reece. How easy will it be for Germany to get around the back of England?
Good question. If you watched, obviously I watched both games on Friday, so I watched the Germany game on telly and I had the Italy-England game on my laptop, and I don't think it will be as easy. Like, I saw people saying like 4-0, 4-1 Germany wins. I don't think it'll be as high as that. I still think we'll win. But it didn't. It took us until the 55th minute to finally get behind Hungary's defence. We had to play the ball much quicker. We had to change the system. And obviously we had to take off Serge Gnabry to bring on Thilo Kehrer, and we switched to a back three. It really does depend. I think England's defence is it's not particularly great, but it is compact. We will have to play the ball much quicker through the middle and hopefully the wide areas. I don't think it'll be as easy, but it will depend on who plays at wing back and on the wings for me before I can say. But hopefully we get through. But your centre backs are compact. I don't think, as much as I'm not a massive England fan or like England in general, I still give your centre backs a bit of respect because they do get close to their position and they are very tight.
Fair enough. Lucas said, to be honest, it is pointless game. Might watch game because both teams can't make it to the next round of the Nations League.
That's true.
I think Germany will win 2-1. Henry said it will just be a game for the future. Luke Shaw in defence. I hope not. Are you surprised at City losing twice in the WSL? My opinion, no. I think I was more surprised over the Villa game, but I knew they was going to lose against Chelsea. They've just lost too many people now, and they haven't got a decent midfield anymore. So, but they was on a bad losing streak at the start of last season due to injuries, and then they managed to finish third. So, I can't rule them out just yet because they might pick up form yet again. But I think looking, and they could sign people in January with the 400k they got for Kira Walsh. So right now I'm not overly surprised because I was expecting a draw then and a loss, but who knows what could happen with this City side. Hi there to Niall. Ravi said some Liverpool fans want Flick as the next Liverpool manager. Paul said I can see Southgate going to get sacked before the World Cup. From what I've read, there's going to be no sackings before the World Cup. So I think he'll only get sacked if we do bad in the World Cup. I don't see him getting sacked otherwise because he's always, even though people don't like him, he's still always done good in tournaments. He's always got to semi-finals, to finals. So I think England's going to then look at that and then make a decision. I think if he gets anything less than the semis, he'll probably get sacked from there, in my opinion.
I think it'd be a risk personally to sack him before the World Cup, although I know a lot of fans would like it. But look at managerial options. There aren't very many available as well that are what you're looking for. I think the best thing to do is maybe give him till the end of the World Cup, as you've said, and then after that, at least you've got a longer term option before the next big international break. You can at least get someone in. I think it'd be a massive risk, but you never know. But I think it'd be a bold call to me. I don't think they will do it.
Yeah. Niall's gone for 2-1 for Germany. Good evening there to Chris. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming into the chat. Paul said Ten Hag, my manager. Yep, our manager too. If Southgate was to get sacked, who do you think will be next in line to take over? That's a question I don't know. I don't know any managers out there who's able to take his place and win us trophies. I actually don't, because there's no managers out there who's available who's won trophies at international level. International football for me is actually a lot harder than club football.
Yeah, it is.
Because you only have like a couple of opportunities to do it. And look at France, for instance. They've not had that same success since the World Cup. It's took Germany how many managers until you got Flick since the World Cup?
The good thing is, though, is Flick was the immediate replacement for Joachim Low. So, like, he was the assistant when Joachim Low took over in 2006. He was there from Euro 2008 when we lost in the final. He was there in the 2010 semis. He was there for Euro 2012 when we lost the semis again. He was assistant manager when we won the final in Brazil. And then after that, he left and he became the director of football of Germany after that. Done some work in between. And then after that, he went into management for a bit, and then he got the Bayern job, and he won 9 trophies in a year and a half.
I always think international football though is just a risk for any manager, and I think managers who tend to be brilliant at international, I'm not saying all, but most of them tend to be either crap at club level and brilliant at international, or
Yeah,
terrible at international and brilliant for club. I'm
yeah.
not saying
Joaquin Low
that's
was
every
great.
manager, because Flick's been good with both. But you look at
Yeah,
Southgate, for instance, he's been more effective in this England side than he has been for club level.
I agree. I agree. I think one further thing is like Joachim Low wasn't particularly great in the club football sense, but when he took the assistant's job to Klinsmann when Germany hosted the World Cup in 2006, he was the assistant when Klinsmann took the job after Euro 2004 when it was an absolute disaster. He got embedded into the system that way, and then since then he was international. He had that job for about 15 years, so he knew what he was doing. He had a lot of success. He won the World Cup and he won the Confederations Cup, but he never really won the Euros. It's the only thing he truly missed out on. But one thing you've seen though is Hansi Flick has that experience. He was already in the setup as an assistant manager. He ran the German DFB as well. Now he managed the biggest club in Germany and one of the biggest clubs in world football to success. And now he's taken his style as the head coach, and he's still in a very good age as well, where he's got length of time and he's got so many good players coming through from the under-21s who have won the European Championships as well, and they're going to be favourites in my opinion to win the under-21 World Cup. You're going to see that there's so many good players from that squad, the current squad, and the experienced options that he can recruit, and he's so in tune. He goes to every major club. He goes across Europe. He goes across to Brazil to watch the German players over there. He goes to watch the players over in Africa. Like, he is so well in tuned, and he's got people everywhere watching. Like, this guy is. I don't think he'll. I don't. As much as I want us to win the World Cup, I think Brazil might win it. I think we might lose the final, although I really hope we win it. I think in 4 years' time, when we go to the States, I think Germany will be the prime favourite to win it.
Doug said, "Big Sam." I hope you're well, Doug. Thanks for coming in.
100% record.
Yep, 100% record as an England manager. I agree with Chris's comment here as well. Southgate deserves the opportunity to manage us in the World Cup after the last two tournaments, and he's
I agree.
absolutely spot on. As much as he is not doing well at the moment, he's the first manager to bring us to a final since we've won the World Cup. He's been, for me, arguably the manager who's managed to bring all the players together in harmony and the fans in harmony. Like, you never used to, like, you could, I think years ago when Neville, Gerrard, blah 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 used to be in who used to be in the squad, you could tell that, right, this is a Liverpool player, this is a Man United player. You could see the bit of the riff, whereas in this squad you don't see that riff. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, because I remember, like, didn't like Rio Ferdinand once say that on BT Sports? Like, when we went to international games, I think Paul Scholes said that as well, although he got overlooked a lot. When they went to international tournaments like the World Cup or the Euros, they weren't there to play as teammates. They were there as like, oh, it's a Chelsea player. We don't sit near them. We don't talk to them. So you've already got dissent in the squad, and that's why England always got embarrassed in like the last 16 in the quarterfinals on penalties, for example. I think right now, when you look at it, you've got the rivalry at club level, but international football, we're playing as teammates, and I think that's what other top teams have. The Spanish have got it. The Italians, although they're not going to the World Cup, but they still have it when they went to the Euros. Like, there's a team spirit. The French have it like quite comfortably. The Brazilians have got it, which is scary considering they've got two players in every position. Even the Dutch right now, the Dutch look lost, and then Van Gaal comes in and they're unbeaten 14 games, and they play Belgium tonight as well. They play Belgium in what time's it right now? I think it's actually it'll be kicking off in like an hour. Like, so I think so, but you'll see like how good they play as a team. The only teams that don't play well is, in my opinion, is the Belgians, and I've had that agenda for a while. I just think they're just more individual than team. But I think you did see it in the game against Wales where you actually saw them play as a team, and I think if they finally get that on track, they could go and do something. But I think it's too little, too late for them. But England have had that change since when they managed to get a manager who just wants a team spirit and play football that's most effective, even if it doesn't look entertaining, although these were very dismal against the Italians.
Hey there, Liam. I hope you're well. Should be a great match. Thanks for coming in there, Liam. And hey, Jordan. Russ is in the chat. Hey there, Russ. He's give the Germany news for you. Rudiger suspended. Lucas is injured, knee injury, and will not play. Brandit Neuer, Gorica pulled out of the squad due to sickness.
COVID, yeah.
Dear. Good evening there to Matthew. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. So we'll go on to your attack for the squad that you brought through. I know there's a couple of players out now, but we've got Julian Brandt, Gnabry, Gorica, Gundogan, Kai Havertz, Hoffman, Kimmich, Muller, who gets pocketed by Yorkshire Pirlo. Kidding. Musiala, who I'd say is the best young player in the world right now.
Agreed.
Lucas, Marcus Royce, Sane, Timo Werner. So there's some players there. Timo Werner is in brilliant form right now for Leipzig, isn't it? For one.
Yeah, he's in brilliant form. He's not scored a lot of goals, but he has scored important goals. When necessary, his movement is still brilliant with him without the ball. He's getting into spaces that he was not getting at Chelsea just because they weren't using him properly. Sane is still an effective winger from the left or the right hand side. I agree with you about Jamal Murciela. I don't think there's so many good players, like young players in world football, but I don't think anyone is better than him both technically and from a technical perspective and from a work rate. And obviously, he's so mature, like getting so many game time with Bayern Munich. He's got that confidence. Kimmich, he's not been in the best of form, but to be fair, he just needs a little bit of. He just needs like one good game to get back in form.
I know you said Kimmich hasn't been in form. Based off him not being in form, should he be in that squad?
No.
So why do you think he's in that? Why do you think he's in that squad then? Do you think Flick's showing favouritism there?
I think the reason he's playing him is because when you look at when Kimmich is playing, even though he's not in the best of form, and I think you'll agree with me on this one in terms of certain players, like even if it's fair or not to pick them, they're still dependable and they show their improvement in the team. Kimmich isn't the best of form, but when you see him sitting in that midfield role, he's calm. When he gets the ball, he can pick passes effectively. He's got good vision. And he will go forward, he'll come back as well. Like he drops really well into the back three. When necessary, he goes out to play wing back because his original position as well. That was something that was highlighted of him. He's going to be that second coming of Philip Lahm, play it right back, play it left back, play in defensive midfield. He gives you that versatility and that experience. And he is the next German captain as well, which I've comfortably said for years. But I think it's just pure because he's not in form. And because of that, there's nobody else really around. Julian Brandt's a number 10. Even though he's not available, you can't play him in that role. Gundogan is the only other option.
And Gundogan's in good form though right now. Gundogan 7 games, 2 goals and assists. They'd be silly not to play Gundogan.
Yeah, I think right now, like I would, even though I really like Goretzka, I'm a massive Leon Goretzka fan. Even when fully fit, I would still have Gundogan ahead of him, and then bring Goretzka on the second half. Like Goretzka is that Ballack type role with that box to box calm presence, but Gundogan's in such brilliant form. It's unfair to drop him. But there are some players in that team I wouldn't play either. Like Serge Gnabry was awful against Hungary. I wouldn't start him.
But he's been on good form for club, hasn't he?
Here and there, it's just he's just not been the best for the international team recently. He still gets the odd goal and assist, but the way he played against Hungary was awful. Like he couldn't even get a clear movement attack. He wasn't efficient from the right hand side, and he had to be taken off. And Jonas Hoffman was put at right wing back. The system's purely changed as well from that perspective because Gnabry wasn't doing anything. I rate Gnabry. He's a player that I really like, but he's not who I would start against England because of how he played against Hungary. I wouldn't start him.
Mm-hmm. Before we go on to the other strikers, hey there, Soph. Thank you for coming into the chat. Hope that you are well. I'm glad you are well, Russ. And good, thank you as well. Chris has said Kimmich, Muller, and Sane are my favourite players from Germany. Kimmich and Muller are going to be massive for Germany at the World Cup.
Yeah, Thomas Muller always scores at the World Cup. He's a bizarre one. He doesn't score in the Euros. He's never scored in the Euros, but he scores in World Cups. He's a very bizarre man. That's why if you're going to play a Euro, don't take Thomas Muller, then take Marco Reus. World Cup, take Muller.
Mm-hmm.
But they're three of my favourites as well. They are three of mine.
Mm-hmm. Matthew said there is a lot of Ollie and Gareth when it comes to squad selection and starting lineups. There was a lot of it during the Euros last year, but then there was happy when we got a win. I've seen people saying even if we won the Euros, they wanted Gareth sacked, and I thought that's absolutely mind blowing. And Radhi asks which players for Germany in the midfield link up well to strikers.
Gundogan, one of them. Kimmich, even not in the best of form, still does link really well. Hoffman is a number 10 naturally, but he plays on that right hand side because it's his movement, his creative ability, which allows Thomas Muller to get the space in the 10 role. They do link really well with Werner, Sané on the left, or Musiala if he comes on, Sané goes to the right. Even Serge Gnabry, they do link really well. It's just they do rely on a lot of confidence. I think some of them don't need the confidence, like Gundogan and Thomas Muller. It's natural for them, but the likes of like Serge Gnabry, he does rely on it. And we know what Timo Werner's like. He is a very fast striker, but when he's not in goal scoring confident form, he does miss silly chances, which for a striker really hampers your confidence. But you see him when he plays for Germany, when he gets that space, when he runs at centre backs, it's hard to stop him.
Yeah, I agree. So I was going to mention about Kai Havertz as one player who did get called up for that squad. In 6 games, 1 goal. He isn't really it for the Premier League. He's not scored any goals yet for the Champions League, so he isn't really in good form right now. Is he a player what should have been called up for you, in your opinion?
No, I may have taken someone else personally, but he's another one where he's just a quality player, and I think he just needs like a goal or assist or a good game to get himself back into form. But ideally, like, I don't want to sound hypocritical because I've made the same comments with other players, where it should be like if you're not in the best of form, don't take them. But we know what Kai Havertz like. His creativity, his movement. He's a really good player. But I'm in the same incline. If you're not in the best of form, you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Germany in itself. Who's your proper number 9 from them strikers?
Oh, it is Timo Werner and Lucas Nemecha, but he's injured.
Yeah, before we do move on from this squad, there was one what I wanted to touch on as well, Jamal Murciela, just because for me he is an outstanding player, plays in that number 10 role. His creativity is absolutely insane, and I'm sure that he was bought from the Chelsea academy from Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich's made him into such an outstanding player. And I actually think Jamal, he could be crucial for Germany in this World Cup coming ahead. And on top of that, he's one for the future. And could he be a potential Germany captain one day?
I don't think he's a potential Germany captain, but I do see where you're coming from. For me personally, I would go Kimmich and then see who else in that role develops over time. But Jamal, like, when he does come on, he doesn't play as a number 10, which, to be fair, I would play him as a number 10. He comes on and he plays in the wings, but he's got such creative vision and such knowledge of that playmaking role that he is slotting there. I think right now, if he hadn't been injured, Julian Brandt wouldn't be in the squad even if he was fully fit. If he was fully fit, I think Florian Wirtz would have been in the squad. He's the future number 10. But I do think, though, depending on how he gets developed at Bayern, either under Nagelsmann or depends on who does follow him, I think once Thomas Muller retires for club and country, Jamal will go into that role, depending on how Bayern Munich's future transfer windows reflect. Because there is rumours they're going to look at Havertz. They're considering Florian Wirtz as well, which wouldn't surprise me. I think I would like to see that in that incline. I wouldn't mind Musiala being on the left wing, Sané goes to the right, cutting on his left foot, or he plays in the 10 and maybe Florian Wirtz could play as a false 9, or he can play on the wing. I don't particularly mind. Like, it gives you so many good options, but he is a fantastic player. Like, right now, like, when you look at young players in football and you think who is the best in their positions, so many few stand out. Like, he's one of them. Vinicius Junior is the other. Maybe Phil Foden, but other than that, that's it. But Jamal Musiala is on a different level. And that experience as well from going from the Chelsea's academy to Bayern Munich and then being
You
trusted to be a
know
starter is impressive.
how much I highly rate Phil Foden, and I
Yeah,
say that he is better than Phil Foden.
so do I. I honestly believe that, and that's not because he chose Germany over England, or it's because it's Phil Foden's English. Nothing to do with that. I think Phil Foden's the best English talent. Maybe Bellingham beside that, but I think Musiala's ahead of him in the same position, left wing or through the 10. I think he is so much better.
Mm-hmm. Lucas, can you speak lots of German?
Not lots of it, just like bits in here between. I'm more better typing it.
Yeah. And he asked. He said,
No,
"No, no, I'll just
screw
take that
that. No, thank you. No, he's done.
one. Will Werner score?
No,
Werner will sky it like he normally does."
I don't think Werner will score. I think Werner will get the assist for the winner. Werner's a very creative player. Considering the fact he's Leipzig's top goal scorer with 90 plus goals and he's got 35 assists, I wouldn't rule it out, by the way.
Torsten's gone for a 3-0 Germany. Oh, the hurt. Yeah, so very strong squad that you brought through. So we'll discuss about a couple of our last game. We'll start with the England-Italy game. I know that's probably something what people want to forget. I know you also watched it as well, Reece, but what can I say? It was a. I think if we didn't have Nick Pope in that goalkeeper role, it would have been a lot of a harder night for England. If we had Aaron Ramsdale in that, as much as people disagree with me on that, I think we would have been 3-0 down.
Yeah, I would certainly agree to that. I would certainly agree. He's a fantastic goalkeeper, and he gives you confidence in the back line, and you need that because Ramsdale won't. Ramsdale doesn't do it, and Dean Henderson, I don't even know why he's up there. And to be honest, I think he's just representation for Nottingham Forest and their 23 loan signings.
Well, let's just be honest though. Dean Henderson, he's just going to be smug to say, see United. I did get through to the England squad now, huh? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was an undeserved call up. I don't think he's been great for Nottingham Forest at all. I think he's been
I
really
personally think though, if Pickford wasn't injured, he would have got through. He wouldn't have got through. It's only because Pickford is injured he did get through. Personally, why not Sam Johnstone? I would have had him over Dean Henderson.
Yeah, I think Johnson's a much better keeper. I think he's actually more mature as well than Henderson. I think he's far more mature. Henderson's a good goalkeeper. Like he is a good goalkeeper, but I think he's very ego driven.
I think yeah.
I'm still here.
I still hear, yeah. It was just playing up on my laptop, but
Oh, right, sorry.
it's okay.
Did you want me? Did you catch that? Yeah, you want me to repeat what I said?
I catch the majority of it.
Yeah, I was just saying there. I think that Henderson's very ego driven.
The thing is, as well, I don't know what's going on, but England don't really seem to have the confidence to go forward and shoot. Harry Kane hardly had any service provided to him. It just felt like Sterling and Saka and Foden was just trying to cut through the defenders and trying to shoot. Whereas Saka's brilliant at his. Saka was playing as a wing back. Wrong choice for me, in my opinion. You needed a proper solid. You needed a specialist wing back to play there, rather than a right wing playing out of position. A winger playing out of position. I think Sterling was cutting into the defenders too much to try and shoot, and I think the same about Phil Foden as well. I think if Saka played on the right-hand side and he was doing his crosses, I think it could have been a bit better for Harry Kane because he was dropping back, trying to provide for himself, and then going forward to try and score. And that shouldn't be the case for a striker.
No, I agree, and I think that's that's the issue that Kane's going to consistently have until you get your system right. However, that's going to work. Like it's until you get that right, he's going to have to make do doing everything on his own, which for a striker at times is effective, but it's also a hampering on getting the best out of them. So I do agree with you.
Yeah, and another thing as well, I actually think Bellingham was probably our best player, but I looked at it. I think Bellingham and Reece James was probably our two best players. I think, as much as people would disagree, I would probably say that Reece James was absolutely solid, and he probably one of the only people who I wouldn't drop into Germany's game.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought he was fantastic. Bellingham as well, like controlling the midfield, like he's got confidence as well. And dropping Bellingham would be stupid because he knows the German team. He plays in the league. He's familiar with how some of these players are. It'd be wise to keep him. I think you've frozen.
I don't know what keeps going on. The signal's just awful.
It happens. It happens. At least it's not me for a change.
Oh my signal's just so bad. I think it's just StreamYard because everything's okay. But you still here, Reece?
I'm still here. Oh, she's dropped out. That's awkward. She's dropped out. Let's see. What's people in the live chat just saying whilst we're waiting? Welcome to the Reece show. No, I'm not doing that to Maisy moving like Ten Hag. What, effectively? Because that's what he's done to your team, Luca. Just remember that he pumped your team. And he pumped Liverpool as well. Here's a stat people won't forget. England don't beat Italy. Second England have not beaten Italy since August 2012. Yeah, but you're also forgetting what came from that as well. 27,000 at Anfield, that's not too bad for the derby. And Reece, but you know Southgate, he won't see that with Bellingham. He will. I think he's seen what he does bring to the team. Like, I think Bellingham's a massive benefit for the England squad. He knows the German team really well, and it'd be stupid of Southgate to not play him. Jack Grealish is, I think he's up his own ass. You know, like Southgate does play negative football. Jack Grealish is just not going to disagree because it means he won't get like dropped or taken out of the spot. It's really
apologies for that. Sorry, my Wi-Fi went off.
What issue? I'm just reading some of the comments as well. If happens Tuchel the England job? No, I don't think he'll get it. I think he might get the Bayern job, depending on what happens with Nagelsmann. And what's the issue with Tuchel? Is there a problem with his visa? Yeah, there is. But I've just stuck off in a wee bit in a manner with the live chat because Luca went to you saying you're moving like Ten Hag, and I went, what? Because you pumped Arsenal and you pumped Liverpool. So there you go.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was.
You know me, it happens to me all the time. Happens to me all the time. You know better than anybody, so it's okay. But at least you're back. You all good?
Yeah, definitely.
You all good?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, so talking about Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
He was, for me, I think he was pretty poor when he came on.
Well, he was... Actually, no, I'll rephrase that. Jack Grealish is very one-dimensional. I was about to say a different word, but I know you don't like certain language, even though at times you swear like a chimney. But...
no, I don't.
She does. But... Don't
listen to him.
In respect, though, when he does come on for England, he was really good for his last year at the Euros because he was in immense form for Aston Villa and he played in the same position where he played. Now he's playing in the same position at City, but he's too robotic. He doesn't have control. He doesn't have that confidence in his ability. Jack Grealish is a decent player, but he's not great. I personally think if he went to Man United, you may have seen him play more effectively in the 10 role rather than the left wing role. I think that's what may have happened if we had signed him instead of signing Fernandes. Yeah, he can.
And I'd rather have Bruno Fernandes than Jack Grealish.
Oh, so would I. I'm just saying if we hadn't signed Fernandes, we signed Grealish, I think he would have been our number 10, and you would have played Jack Grealish permanently as the number 10 role for England, but I don't think it's going to happen. But either way, like, just looking at him, he's not the best of players, and even when he comes off the bench, like, he was on for, what, half an hour against Italy last year in the Euros when, well, obviously when we won, but he was then taken off, and I'm just saying that he was taken off, which would make no sense to me. I would have kept him on, because he's a very creative player, but he was taken off straight away. Now he's not in the best of form. He's not, no confidence. And he's like several players we've spoken about tonight. If you're not in good form, not in good confidence, you shouldn't be there in the first place.
Agreed, completely. Where will Jack Grealish go next year now? People are saying he's supposed to be going on loan back to Villa, but I can't see that happening with Coutinho being there and a few others.
I think it depends on Steven Gerrard as well, I think. Because I don't know if Gerrard would need him, because like you said, you've mentioned Coutinho. What's the point? I completely agree.
And they've got Jacob Ramsey, who could play there as well, who's very good form.
I really like him. I think he's a really good player. I think he'll be wanted by a lot of the top clubs, like top English clubs next year, like Chelsea, Man United, maybe Liverpool, because I don't see Liverpool getting Jude Bellingham. Like I'm just not going to break Liverpool fans' hearts, but it would be good for me and you, obviously.
It's not
but
breaking Ravi's heart, that's for sure, saying that.
I don't see Bellingham going there. I don't see Liverpool spending that sort of money. I think I've said it numerous times. I think he will either join us or he'll join. I think he'll join Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham. I think Ramsey could go to Chelsea. I think Ramsey could go Liverpool. I think Ramsey may end up at Arsenal. I think Arsenal would benefit a lot from Jacob Ramsey because I'm sure he's not a 10. He's a box-to-box player, but he can play the 10. Yeah, so he gives you that versatility, and I think. Another thing as well is you can tell Southgate is really stupid because it took him this long to pick up Fikayo Tomori in his squad, like your best centre-back by a mile, and he still doesn't include Marcus Edwards, which I think is very bizarre because he's a phenomenal winger.
He should have been picked, but it's better being fully fit for Sporting anyway, considering the injury crisis Sporting has right now.
Agreed.
And when I mean injury crisis, it's not Chelsea's 2 midfield injury crisis. I mean, we've literally only got 2 centre backs left injury crisis. We have 1 wing back and 2 fully fit centre backs. We've got nothing else in that. We've got nothing else in defence. Nothing.
And this is what I was warning you. I warned you it's going to come back to haunt you, like not being able to improve that defence.
You said the midfield.
Yeah, but then the minute you told me about the defence, I was like, well, that's it. Like, yeah. You can't hope.
Even Quartes is injured. Quartes.
Yeah. I mean, that's Uruguay Maguire. Well, he definitely moves like him.
So I thought I'd touch on one thing before we touch on Germany's game. This was a quote what I've seen from Harry Maguire. He said, "I think if people can make a story about me, I am a Manchester United captain, it is going to make big news. So that is the reason they do it. They like the clicks and the things like that. But I went to the Euros after an 8-week injury and did not play 1 game, and I got in team of the tournament." I don't think he's helping himself making them comments.
No, and this is the problem. Like, whether you want to stand by Maguire or don't stand by Maguire, like I just want him to address it properly and just get it dealt with. These sort of comments will effectively turn more people against him.
You can't look at that and go, it's like in a kind of way like, well, I've had an injury and I still got a team tournament, like trying to say, like, he's trying to make out he's never been on bad form, making them comments.
Yeah, exactly. And every player has bad form. It's natural. But this is him being smug and sly about it. And I think it's a wrong attitude to have, especially when you've got, as he's already stated, I'm Manchester United captain. Yeah, well, the way you're acting, potentially not for much longer. But that sort of attitude you cannot continue with because that's toxic.
Mm-hmm. And to make a comment, I did not play 1 game, then got into team of the tournament. It was trying to say, like, oh, well, United was missing me. And look at that, I got team of the tournament. Everyone played well in that England team. Not just Maguire. John Stones played magnificent. Pickford played magnificent.
Mm-hmm. If anything, Maguire only did 1 good thing that entire tournament.
And that's when he got played. That's no, he got a player of the match for one of them. I can't remember what game it was now.
Even so, like it's just these. It probably was a group stage game. I can't remember. No, I don't know.
No,
But
I
even
don't
so,
think it
like
was.
it's.
I've
I don't think it
actually
was.
got the picture on Instagram.
I don't think it was a Germany game.
It was the Germany game.
I don't remember being that good. Put it that way, I remember his defence around them being better.
That was the
Even
Germany
so, like,
game. Because if you remember this picture, I posted it from the same game. Look, see, that's from Germany game. Do you remember?
mm, I remember the horror behind it. But
He got player
even
of the match
so,
against Germany.
I still don't like that sort of comment. Though I think that's you're trying to get people on your side, not turn people against you.
I completely agree. Before we go on to, of course, Germany's game against Hungary, which you will take the lead on that. We'll see what people are saying. Lucas, this is why I warned you people. Tamari Stones' best partnership. Believe that. Never play Maguire and Dyer. That rhymes. Oh my god. But for me, in my opinion, I think you're wrong about Eric Dyer. I think
He's
Eric
poor.
Dyer is brilliant and he's playing on great form right now. I actually think it should be Tamari and Eric Dyer. I
I
don't
think you
think
do
John
still for
Stones has
me.
been that good this season. He didn't deserve the call up. He hasn't
Yeah,
hardly played.
yeah, I agree. And another thing as well is if you actually look at form and what he's done, what I believe when Conte came in, Spurs had only a few clean sheets, and that was like when they were beating teams 3-0, and they were hardly winning games. And then next thing you know, 13 wins, 10 of them were clean sheets, all because Eric Dyer played in the middle of the back three. Eric Dyer is a really good player. I think he's not the best. I think Conte got a little bit over exaggerated calling him world class, like many players, like many managers do, but it's because they've got belief in their players. Eric Dyer is really good, and he improves a lot, like a lot of the big defense as well. If you play him in the right system, I think he's quite. I think he's a Man City type defender.
He definitely suits the back three a lot better, but I think the thing is because Poch put him as a centre back, it took a while for him, for my opinion, to
Yeah,
adjust to the centre back.
because he was a really good defensive midfielder when he first got called up to England as well. He played in that role because that's where he played for Sporting. He
Sporting
was,
Academy,
yeah, he was
best
comfortable
academy
in
in the
that.
world.
But it's one of them. But he was certainly playing really well, and obviously he got off to a great start, scoring a brilliant free kick as well. Like Eric Dyer's a really good player. He's creative, he's strong, and he's not afraid to go for, like without a fight as well. Like he will fight for his team, he will fight for himself. And right now, when you've got a defence that isn't particularly great, you want somebody who will at least get stuck in. And Tomori's by far your best centre back. I'm sick of telling people this. Like he is by far your best centre back.
Good evening, Kai. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming into the chat. Kai said only one winner here, and that's England.
That's fine.
You know that, Kai. Kai, you know this. I like coffee's in the chat. Hey there, I like coffee. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. I like coffee said my prediction is 1-0 win with England with an overhead scorpion kick from Southgate himself. I would actually rather have Southgate in that starting 11 right now.
There you go.
Kai and Ravi's having a discussion about Bellingham. Lucas, the Tamari Stones, I say, Dyer only on good form because Conte made him. You take Conte out of Spurs squad, Dyer not good.
He was decent under Jose Mourinho as well. He wasn't particularly great under Nuno, but he was impressive under Mourinho and Conte because they knew how to use him.
I like coffee. On a serious note, one goal win for England with Ivan Toner.
No.
Dyer has no technical ability. John Stones is clear. That's fair enough. I can see why you think it. I'll let Reece go on to the bench of Germany when he talks about the Hungary game because I know me and you were talking about the game because and you were saying that Hungary was very hard to break down, and it's actually Flick's first defeat as a Germany manager as well. So it was a terrific record for Flick.
Yeah, he set records as well. Like, he was the first German manager to win six games in a row as well. Like style was aggressive, playing. One thing he will do is he will. Yeah, I can't stop laughing at that comment. I'm just trying to.
It's right. As long as Havertz and Werner play, Maguire can play and we'll keep a clean sheet. Can I speak in facts there? Let
It's not
Havertz
really.
and Werner score
It's
play.
not really. It's not really. If you look at record for record, like Werner's got a very good record for Germany. It's much better than
Against England?
Not against England. I'm just saying in
Okay.
general. Just in general, he does have a good record. I think to say that you'll keep a clean sheet because you're playing Maguire is hilarious. Don't wink at it.
I will
Cheeky.
wink at it.
Yeah, you cheeky beautiful bugger. But either way, like in terms of the respect to it, like you look at that game, Flick does it. I think Flick's weakness is, even though he's such a good manager, is he does overanalyze. I think he got it a little bit wrong against Hungary because he waited until half time to make that change. I would have made the change 10 minutes earlier. I would have gone back 3 at the 35th minute and then go for the second half. We did score in the second half, but it was ruled out for offside correctly. But the team that we do play is best suited to a back four. Fucking hell.
I hope you're well, Rich.
Mm-hmm. But I think if you look at squad, manager, system, we beat you on all three angles. Like we beat you on all three. England's only chance of it is to keep the scoreline 0-0 for 75 minutes and hope you get a bloody penalty like you always do. Like there's no. I don't think you have got that confidence as well because you have went nearly 500 minutes without scoring from open play, whereas we may not be the best at like what we want to do is like control the amount of chances and press high with the ball. But when we do go direct and we play with pace, either through the middle or through the wings, we cause more damage. England haven't done that in quite a while, and I think the one result that really does reflect that is the Hungary game, where all I heard was England fans saying, "Oh, we're going to completely smash them." It's the other way around.
The thing is that England get too hopeful in every single game to think we'll smash every team, and that's not necessarily the case because Hungary, for me, has got a very underrated side there. Szoboszlai, for instance, he's a terrific number 10 who can also make very brilliant crossings, and that's a thing. That kind of thing damages England. And did you play the back four last time? Back four when you started? I just don't think the back four approach was the best option going into the Hungary game because I think
we started.
I don't
back
think
four.
Germany play as well in the back four, but of course you're the Germany fan here, so you'd have a better.
I think it depends on selection for the back four to be at its best. I wouldn't mind us playing a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, depending on how he plays his wide midfielders. But we played the 4-2-3-1 to control the possession and press from the fullbacks and the midfield, which gives us that opportunity for Thomas Muller to get his space. The problem is when you're playing a team like Hungary who deserve more respect than they get, regardless of their fans. Their fans are disgusting, but their football is very efficient, it's direct, it's aggressive. And the results they've got, the first beating a Flick, they've beaten England twice, they've beat Italy, they're going to beat Italy in Budapest as well. I generally think Hungary will win, and they will win the group with flying colours. There's no coincidence that this was a team that was favourites to finish bottom, but they've been promoted every single year from the Nations League groups they've been in. There's no coincidence, and they are hard to break down. We struggled until the second half when we took off Gnabry, as I said, was really poor form. We put on Hoffman, who was offside when we did eventually put the ball in the back of the net. We had more chances in the second half. We didn't take them. Hungary just knew they just had to defend comfortably, and if they had a chance where they could break, they could do it. And Shalai as well, like his last ever away game, he's the one that scores the winning goal.
Do you want to also touch on your bench with Ravi's question as well?
Well, the bench is fairly strong. I mean, look, Murciela started on the bench, which was key. You had Kehrer. I think, personally, there wasn't enough attacking players on the bench. Like, the Mecha came on, then he got injured. Like, which does not help at all. He got injured in training, but he came on to make us two up top when it was too little too late. If anything, I'm just... I was just more disappointed by the lack of quality that we had in attacking options. Like we didn't we could have taken more midfielders. We could have took Florian Neuhaus as well, but we didn't. I think there's key attacking players that missed out. It really did irritate me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. If you was to say, what would you have changed if you was Flick?
I wouldn't have started the back four against Hungary, and I wouldn't start the back four against England either. I would go 3-4-3. I would go for the 3-man midfield. So the 3 attacking up front, the 3-man defence. I would play that 4 in midfield.
3-4-3.
Yeah, I'd play 3-4-3.
Good. If you were gonna say a 3-4-2-1, I wouldn't have been impressed with you.
Yeah, I would go the 3-4-3. I think is much better suited for the wing backs like David Raum and Hoffman, or even if Heinrichs was in the team, Heinrichs could be there and Hoffman could be the right winger. But he's not. It gives the team more fluidity, like from building from the back as well. I think in the back four we look to be more forward runs, where in the back three it's better for the possession. It gives us more initiation on the counter attack and transition. I would much say right now and going to the World Cup. I think we will be much better when we get to the World Cup anyway, because we'll have more stronger squad available. But I think right now for the Nations League we should just continue playing the back three. We don't need to play the back four.
Exactly. We'll quickly go through the comments, then we'll do my England lineup prediction for me. I'll do a Germany one. We'll do on that create formation thing.
Yeah.
Bradley said 3-0 Everton, Liverpool washed up like fairy liquid. I seen the third goal. It's another counter-attacking goal. Exactly how I said Everton will play tonight. And they've done it yet again. So you've played too far up the pitch. You brought all your players up front, and you shouldn't have done that, in my opinion.
Yep. Agreed.
Richard's got a good point. What went wrong in the Euros, Reece?
That's actually, I can answer that one very easily. For one, he started the wrong midfield. And 2, when we had the ball, we were not as direct enough. We kept playing it back, thinking that Neuer's like brilliance with his runs, and like when he can actually run out of his box and he can play it forward. Like Neuer does that really well, like as the sweeper he does. I don't think Rudiger got on the ball enough like he did against Hungary and Portugal in the groups, for example. And also the front three I think the front three choices were wrong as well. I think Gnabry wasn't in the best of form. Even though he was new to the team, I would have started Musiala on the left wing. I would have put Sané on the right, and I wouldn't have started Werner in that game personally because he didn't get a lot of space. I would have started Havertz as a false nine, or I would have started Thomas Muller. I think he just got some of his selections wrong. And Joachim Low, he said before the tournament he was going to play a younger team and develop with it, and then he decided to resort to type, and he recalled Hummels, which slowed our defence down. He recalled Muller, even though I've always rated Muller. I think he had no other option because Marco Reus got injured. I think if you're going to make commitment to younger players to develop for a future team, stick to it. Be a man of your word. At least be a man of your word. And he got it completely wrong. I think he chose the experience because he thought it's my last international tournament. I'm going for glory. Yeah, you can go for glory, but stick to your word about it because you would have had a better chance. I think we may have done if he had changed things slightly, but he didn't.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you there, to be fairly honest. Let's see what other people are saying in the comments as well. 4-2-3-1 is a decent formation.
Depending on your personnel.
And what would you say? What would you say is the personnel then?
Neuer in goal, Heinrichs at right back in the future squad, Schlotterbeck and Rudiger in defence. Rudiger on the right, Schlotterbeck as a natural left footer, David Raum at left back, Gundogan Kimmich in the midfield too, Sané on the right, Thomas Muller in the middle, Jamal Murciela on the left, Timo Werner up top.
So that's your predicted lineup.
So that's what I would do going forward if it's a 4-2-3-1. That's what I would do.
What's your predicted line? So I'll go with England's predicted lineup first, and then I'll delete all and let you do yours. So I think there's going to be massive changes into this squad.
Yes.
Because England's got nothing to lose now at this point. We're relegated. Couldn't give a crap.
Yeah.
So here is my predicted lineup. Nick Pope stays in goal after his great performance. Maguire stays as a right centre back. Eric Dyer is in the middle because I think he suits the middle the best.
Yep.
And I think Tomori will come through after Kyle Walker's howler performance against Italy. I'd say it was him who caused the goal to go in, and I don't particularly like people playing out of position.
He was awful.
He was awful. I think Rice and Bellingham will remain the same because I think they both played very well together. I do think Saka is going to come off the wing back, and I think he will play Chilwell. I just had that strange feeling in my mind because of Southgate the other day mentioning that Chilwell hasn't played a lot of minutes, that's why he's not playing. It makes me wonder, is he going to play in this game just because of it, just to break him in that little bit and then take him off maybe for Luke Shaw at half time, 60th minute. I think Reece James will be staying as he is because I think he was outstanding against Italy. It was just a shame he was on the losing side for me.
Yeah.
I think Sterling will keep his place. I think Saka will stay in the lineup, but I think he'll move as a right wing. And I think Harry Kane will be dropped for Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, personally, I think he is the right choice to play up front because when you look at the high line of the German defence, Harry Kane, he is a very good finisher and he's a good link-up player, but Abraham has that pace advantage over him. And especially in that, against the high line, if you do get a right pass into him, drop over the defence, he does have a good chance to finish it. He does have that behind him. Harry Kane's a great finisher. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's got brilliant vision.
I think he is still one of the best strikers in the world.
Yeah, he is. He is, even though I'm not a massive fan of his. But I think if you're going to play against a high line, you do not play the slower option. I think that is, unless you tell Harry Kane not to drop so deep, you tell him to stay further forward, he can certainly have an impact. But I think the pacier option from Abraham is smarter. And then, if anything, if you need to, like 65, like 60, 70 minutes, you could still bring on Tony like for additional pace, or you could bring on Kane and potentially go for the win, depending on what the scoreline is.
As a non-England fan, from my prediction, is there anything you would change on that?
No, I actually think that is probably your best. I think that is probably your best lineup to an extent. Although I got a feeling I don't think Saka. I don't know if Saka will play. I would more likely say Phil Foden. But
I don't think
Phil
Foden plays left on great on the left. I really don't.
I was thinking Sterling on the left wing, so he can cut on his right foot, and then Foden on the right cuts in.
Right, Foden's not good on the right. He's either plays well on the left or in the 10. So if he was to play him in the 10, he would have to change to a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-4-2. 3-4-2-1.
I suppose you could. You could play Sterling as you could play Sterling Abraham as up top. Sterling can play in that position, or you could play Abraham and Tony with Foden in the 10 role. But then again, would you drop Sterling, who's been your best player for like the past 3 years? I think it'd be very harsh to drop him.
Still, under the same breath, just as we've already touched on, he's not been on good form for club.
True.
But he wasn't on good form for club when we
went
to the Euros, and he was our best player under the same breath as well.
Yeah, I think there's certain players who they thrive in certain circumstances. I think they just need some sort of spark. I think he is potentially one of them. He is a quality player for you guys.
Thank you, Niall, and thank you to Reva. I like coffee. I like how Reece says Neuer.
Yeah, Manuel Neuer. There you go.
Hey there, Vincent. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Do you think we'll play as a back three in the World Cup from Chris? I think it'll depend on. I actually think it'll depend on the team we play against.
I think you might see something bizarre. I think he might go way of his comfort zone. I think we could end up seeing you guys change to a 4-3-3.
Nah, that's it. I
I
really
think you could
can't.
I think you could see some sort of, like, I think teams where he really wants to control the game. I think you could see Rice sitting on his own, and you could see maybe them.
I think Rice, though, on his own, is a big risk because he hasn't played on his own. He always plays in a pivot or in a centre back.
Still, I
That's a
suppose.
massive risk for me, in my opinion. And if we was to do the 4-3-3, that's when Calvin Phillips should be coming through because he can play as a low defensive
Mhm.
midfielder.
Could do, but who else? Who else would you play in that like that midfield role beside if you did go 4-3? Because Bellingham's obviously going to be in there.
Because you could play Bellingham and Phil Foden in the midfield or Mason Mount.
Suppose you could actually, yeah.
Because they can both play in that position in the 4-3-3. Although
Yeah.
Mason Mount does play higher up for club. He plays as a winger at times for club. So,
Yeah.
Chris said, I would. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. I want to see Abraham and Tony get their chances. I do as well.
I rate them both.
Yeah, me too. Hey there, Andrew. Hope you well. We haven't done our predictions as of yet. We'll do them at the end. Henry, we're not good enough to play at a back three. It has to be 4 at the back, maybe 3 in the midfield, 4-2-3-1. Yeah, probably that would be best. Maguire back 3, make that a back 2. make it a back 1. I like coffee, spot on. Andrew, problem with England's centre backs are so bad. That's why they go with the 3, and that's why they probably pay Kyle Walker out position as well.
England only have one good centre back that plays in a back 3 or a back 2, and that's Tomori. He's by far the best centre back you've got. Like no, he's untouchable.
Ravi said Mays will jump for joy if Southgate plays 4-3-3. There's literally, I might even see a unicorn flying over my house before a 4-3-3 off Southgate. You know what I mean? German.
You could play 4. Sorry, on you go. I'll say it afterwards.
3-0 for Germany from Chris.
I was saying if you did play a 4-2-3-1 though, you could have Phillips or Rice beside Bellingham. I think Bellingham has to play in the box-to-box role. You play Foden as the 10, Sterling and Saka as the wingers, and then whoever you want to play up top, which is more likely to be Harry Kane.
Gustav goes in the house. Hey there, hope you well. Not seen you in chat before. Brazil, yeah, I think Brazil will win the World Cup if you want me to be honest. So, yeah, I agree with you. We'll do your lineup anyway. You can tell me your lineup. I'm gonna be obvious here and say you're gonna have Neuer in goal.
No, Ter Stegen, because I don't think Neuer. I don't know if Neuer's going to still be available because he pulled out the cold.
He's out, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, Marc-André Ter Stegen, although he was really poor for the goal against Hungary, he should have done a whole lot better. I don't care how good that goal was; he was so open on his back post.
Okay, that's understandable. That's understandable then.
Yes. So TER.
Yeah, I know how to spell it.
She just looks shocked.
I was shocked because I totally forgot that we already mentioned that. Yeah. Oh, I ain't even told you what formation. Sorry.
To be fair, I'm sticking with the same thing. 3-4-3 personally.
Okay.
I think we'll switch to the back 3 against England because that's what we did in the last game. And even though we didn't get the win that we deserved, we looked more comfortable in the back 3.
Defenders.
So on that left-hand side, Rudiger.
Oh, that's crappy spelling. Yep.
In the middle, I'd say Schlotterbeck.
Yeah.
I can guide you, don't worry.
Oh.
Take off the O.
Yes.
And then it's an L.
Oh.
It should appear there. There you go.
There you are. Go on, another one.
The right one, Kerr. I think he will come in and play like how he did against Hungary.
Okay. If you want me to help.
Keh. Rer.
Okay.
Right midfield, Jonas Hoffman. So HOF.
I know how to spell that one. Yeah.
Yeah, not that one. That's the clown. It's just the one. It's just the one.
Just the one. Okay.
One F. Yeah, it's MANN.
Oh, dearie me. These spellings.
It happens.
Okay. And then the right midfield. I'm guessing Rom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know like myself, like dyslexia and spelling, I can be a pain in the neck. So I'm like you. I want it to be perfect every time. So it happens. Two central midfields. So that'd be Kimmich and Gundogan.
Okay.
And then this is where things will get really interesting for me. Right wing, personally, I want Muller. I would rather play Thomas Muller than Gnabry in this one. Left wing, Sané.
And up front, Werner.
Yeah. That's what I would personally go with against England. Because that is actually what we did in the second half against Hungary as well.
That's very true. I think Muller coming in is going to be quite crucial.
Yeah, his experience, his movement, and his intelligence with and without the ball is key.
Looking
Especially
at that team, it's a fairly young team, really.
Yeah, like Kerr, like early 20s, Schlotterbeck, he's 23, Kimmich is 26, Hoffman is 29, Werner's 25, Sané's 25, David Raum is 24. So they're the youngish players in there, and obviously Gundogan's 31, Muller's 32, 33, Ter Stegen's 30, and obviously Rudiger is, I think he's about to turn 30, I think.
Oh, happy birthday to Rudiger.
I think he is. I don't know how long it is, but I'm sure he's close to hitting 30 from what I know.
Big 3-0. No, it'd be 3-0 in March. Bless him.
But for me, like in the second half though, personally, like I think once you get like tired legs, I would put Sané on the right and I would put Musiala on the left. And then I think he might, depend on circumstance, he might take off one of the centre backs and go back four and go for the push where he'll bring on Kai Havertz as well. I think that's what he might do because he's done that before. But I think right now, in terms of like Hoffman, even though he's a 10, he plays really well on that right hand side. It gives him the chance to be creative, and he's got a lot of energy. David Raum up and down, he's brilliant, and we already know what Sané brings to the team in terms of confidence and through as a winger.
Yeah. Got a good lineup there from Germany. Henry said this is down to South in his crappy team selections. Yeah, I agree. Gustavo said United largest team, Manchester. Yep, you know this. Hey there, Penny. Thank you for coming in. Not seen you in the chat before. I'm sad to say if England play the way they did against Italy, I don't expect to beat Germany. I agree. I really do agree with that. I really agree. Andrew, my start at 11. What a brilliant start at 11. With Andrew Neil and Daniel Radcliffe there. Wow. Honestly, fantastic. I like coffee. If you join the dots in that 3-4-3 formation, it will look like a trophy. Yeah.
Correct.
That
You're not wrong.
Lucas say Kea is rubbish. I like Coffee Muller, my fave German player, is one of Reece's favourite as well. So
he's on the back of one of my German shirts that's got the World Cup badge on it. Like Kerr isn't particularly great. Like that's something like I will stick up for him because he's a young player, but he's playing for he's playing for a team as well where there's so much expectation, where he's got so much on the microscope. He plays for PSG as a right back, and he plays as a right centre back sometimes in the back three. Hence his versatility. He needs to get more experience under his belt, and he just needs to take out little bits of his game that is there. Like, he's a bit rash at times, but he would be Arsenal's best defender, by the way, Luca. So there you go.
Still and a fantastic lineup for Germany as well from Andrew. Thank you for everyone who's liked and who's watched as well, and thank you, Luca. I'll wrap the stream up. I know it's got a bit longer than expected, but
I've enjoyed all the time.
Thanks for coming on, Reece. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Would you like to shout out your socials and your channel as well?
Well, I've got all the time for you in a nutshell. All the time. It's right here, Devil's Rising on YouTube and Twitter. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've put the link for your YouTube channel in the description below, so you can check out Reece's channel from there. If no one's read my description as of yet, just like last year, I'll be raising awareness for breast cancer during October again onto the channel. So any super chats, what gets made during October, will all get donated to breast cancer now. And you can donate to breast cancer now through the link on the description. I will do a video early October on breast cancer awareness on how the early signs of breast cancer. So check out the channel. I'll be going pink for October, trying to raise as much awareness as possible, because that's what I do want to do. And I do appreciate you, Penny, as well, for coming onto the channel, and it's been great to see you. So thank you very, very much for taking the time to watch, and thank you everyone else taking the time to watch. The Scousers versus the Scousers from Andrew. That was a very comfortable 3-0 win for Everton, which we wouldn't have seen in men's football. But yeah, go and smash that subscribe button here if you're new, and hit that like button. I'll be next live tomorrow with Andy and Chloe for an Aston Villa preview for our first Conti Cup game of the season. I've got a Man City preview coming ahead this week with a Manchester City fan.
I'm going live soon myself. I thought I would just hang out. I've not been not long off a live, and then I'm on an even better one with importance, and then I'll be going live after this as well for maybe an hour and a half. So if you want to come along, it's right there as well, like Devil's Rising on YouTube. So it'd be most appreciated. It's gaming content. I'm like, although I will be bringing a few things to my channel, I just need to see if the right people would be interested, because it's different. I'm looking at maybe do a few watch alongs, like spoiler alert, but it depends on the games. I don't want to do like the same. Obviously, I will do like a couple of Man United games and all that, but I want to do some other things as well that's enjoyable for people. But we'll see. Because I'm on the road to 300 now as well. Crazy enough, like I'm on 267.
I am thinking of doing something different on the channel myself this weekend. So go and check that out as well. And check out Reece where he goes live. I've got that link in the description. So go and give Reece that support this Sunday evening. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.